hear that? Like the pulse of the street, a hole in the chest.
Yo, what up, my people? What's going on? I want to give a huge shout out. First of all, my whole intro is all over the place. My bad. I came a little late. I got a lot of people in the back, but before I start, I want to give a huge shout out to everybody in the chat, everybody listening right now. We got 26 people. I better see some 26 likes. You know what I'm saying? But without further ado, let me present my the people that we're gonna be having this discussion with. First of all, I want to present Magic Mulata. What's going on? What's up?
What up? What up? What's up, my peoples?
What's
How y'all
going
doing?
on?
I'm really
Yes,
excited
yes,
for
yes.
this conversation.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you,
good.
thank you, thank you. Also, I want to introduce my homie. Y'all probably don't know him, but I know him through Twitter. My homie, No Religion. What's going on, dude?
What's up, brother?
What
Glad
up,
to
What's
be
up?
here.
What's up?
religion?
What's up?
Thanks for
What's
the
up? What's
invite.
going on, No Religion? First of all, I'm really excited that No Religion's here. No lie, I'm kind of a fan of his. But shout out to him though. Also another homie. He's on Twitter as was it Multiracial, I believe. What's going on, bro?
It's my
Nothing
brother
much.
George.
How are you guys doing? How's it
Pretty
going,
good,
Good.
pretty
Radical?
good, pretty good, pretty good. Also from down in the Florida area, you know, where a lot of things crazy happen. They probably call it the Florida of the Bronx. Hazel Green, what's going on, Hazel?
Hey, what's up, everybody? How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good,
Hazel.
pretty good.
Howdy, Hazel.
And
Hey,
last but not least, actually, I'm actually waiting for Ant to come in, but whatever. For last but not least, everybody probably thinks of her as the radical Latina. My clone, Denise. What's going on, Denise?
hi,
Hi. Hi,
Hey, hey,
Hazel.
hey,
Hi,
hey, what's up?
everyone.
Now, let me just start this off by giving a disclaimer real quick. The reason why I wanted to have this type of conversation is because in the inception of my YouTube channel and podcast, I always started striving for Black and Brown unity. Now, you do have certain sectors of the Black community that are not for that and are very clear to let us know we're not for Black and Brown unity. And also, there's certain sectors of the Hispanic community that also is very clear that says we don't want Black and Brown unity. Now, when we're talking about unity, we're not talking about begging, or we're not talking about trying to have handouts to come on, I want acceptance. No, it's about uniting in a common goal, common cause, and actually is going to be beneficial for both groups. So I have found that a lot of the mixed race, biracial community is very open with their unity and very acceptance to Latinos coming in. And also, in the same time, I found the divestment movement doing the same thing as well. So that's the main reason why I want to have this discussion with all you guys. Let me just start off by saying I understand when we're talking about a community and unity and all that other stuff is going to be involving economics and stuff, but what we're going to be talking about today is like a common what we're going to get together, you know, a common cause, you know what I'm saying? So I want to start off with Magic Mulata. What are your thoughts on the mixed race community being more in touch and more inclusive to Latinos, and how can we strengthen that bond within your community and our community?
So, first of all, I think we're pretty much already united. Like, there's no bad blood between us. There's no negative history. Like, we already, like, because we're an emerging community. We're still in the beginning stage. We don't even have a real community yet or anything. It's just kind of like, oh, my daughter, sorry. Oh, my goodness. Hold on.
No, that's all good. Don't worry about it.
But we're an emerging community. We're just now in the beginning stages. We don't really have our own identity yet. We don't really have anything. And from what I've seen from the Latino community, you guys are very supportive of us, like having our own identity and having. You guys are supportive of our movement, very much so, and we're very appreciative of it. And I just want to keep us in good standing, right? Because in the future, here's how I see it. Because we look at Latin countries and stuff, or like, okay, most of them are majority mixed, unlike here, because you guys been mixing since like the 1400s or so. That was like hundreds of years of mixing. Versus here, it was just got legalized in the 1960s, right? So I see in the future, because we're the two of us Latinos and the multiracial people, we're the growing population in this country. So how I see it, we're going to be the two dominant populations in this country at some point in the future. It's going to take a long time to get there, but I just think that we need to stay in good standing with each other, so we don't become beefing and just arguing and just so it don't become like a
Yeah.
black white thing. You know, that's
And let me ask you something, Mulata.
Mhm.
As Latinos who are mixed here in America, I'm not talking about back home. I'm talking about here in America, because in America everything is racially based and everything
very
like
much.
that.
Mhm.
It's common sense for us to actually do that unity due to that mixture, right? That
Yeah.
should be a common thing, correct?
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. I think that we kind of course, we have different cultures, you know, we have different heritage. Of course, you know, I respect differences. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, we can't unify because we're not the same. But I'm like, I think you could be different. Like, we can embrace our identity. You guys have your own identity, and that's cool. You know, I respect culture, I respect identity. We live in a multicultural country where everybody, you know, is trying to preserve their own culture and not be assimilated into like white, you know. But I think that I think you guys like unlike you know black Americans or white Americans, it's like you guys actually understand like what it's like to be mixed, you know, and have like coming from a lot of different have a lot of different genetics in you. And so that's something that we kind of like relate to on just the fact that we're mixed. Not that we don't have the same culture, we don't have the same, you know, other
Yeah.
things, but just the fact that you're mixed. And I love that you guys are like you guys embrace it. Like there's not this mentality. You guys never had that one drop rule um drilled into your mindset, like, oh, you know, you
Yeah.
have to be this, you have to pick a side. And that's something that I want us to adopt, like us multiracial, biracial people in America, and be like, hey,
Yeah.
we're mixed, you know, we embrace all of us. We're not going to just, you know, pick this side and then just completely ignore and completely just not even care about our other sides. We're going to just live like we're just going to be mixed and kind of just navigate through the world instead of it. Because in America, there's such black and white thinking, you know, it's always us versus them. But it's like,
Yeah,
no,
of
you could
course.
be both. You could be both. And we
Yeah,
can
yeah,
walk through the
of
world and be
course.
both. So I love that
Um,
mentality that I see from you guys'
yeah.
youth. And I
I'm
want
gonna
us to adopt it, you know?
I'm gonna move it to No Religion, the homie. Shout out to him. I know he's boots on the ground. You know what I'm saying, with a lot of activism work. The same question for you. I think you're muted, by the way. If you could unmute yourself. Same question for you. What do you see this unity between mixed race and biracial people being a lot quicker to unify than other groups of people?
There is, there is, and all I can say about that, um, as an indigenous person, uh, we believe in the Kushembekwa. I'm Purepecha, by the way, and we have the Kushembekwa, and what that means is to have a good relationship with all living things. And you know, we all know the history of this land. It was stolen, and the thing about indigenous people is we don't believe that the land can be owned. So we're willing to share it, ready and willingly. But what we won't allow is for ourselves to be destroyed. So there's that thin line of, yes, absolutely, unity is important, but you know, we do also have to assert ourselves as the original people of
Yeah,
this
preserving your culture, preserving the
of
culture and
this
stuff.
land. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course.
absolutely. But I mean, with that being said, you know, it's rage against the machine, really. And I'm not just talking about like black and brown unity, but even like unity with white people, because it's gonna take everyone to fight this machine that is colonialism, that is imperialism, that is capitalism.
Yeah,
So
facts.
unity isn't just important for black and brown. Unity is important all over the place, all across the map. You know, whoever's with it, cool. Whoever wants to get in the way, well, you know, that's their decision. But you know, what we got going on here on Turtle Island is obviously not sustainable. The fucking planet's dying. You know, fucking gas prices are ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like mass incarceration. I mean, I could literally just go on and on and on. We could talk about this for weeks. But the one thing that I do want to instill right now is that it's gonna take it's gonna take everyone to get stuff done. That's the only way we're gonna get there. Either we all can be here on Turtle Island, happy, peacefully coexisting, or you know, hey, there's that other route too, which it seems that's sort of what we've been living in. You know, with my bad, I'm out here on the streets.
No, no, it's all good. It's all good.
But yeah, you know, with these peaceful moments in between, but we know it could be a whole lot better than it is right now. That's for a fact, and that's really all I have to say about that right now.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you. What was it? Mixed race revolution. Same question to you.
I see like the Latino Hispanic community as being like close cousins to those like me and like Magic, because you guys can very much relate to like mixed race identity and mixed race issues, since as we all agreed before, a lot of you guys are already mixed to a large extent. So I see you guys as being like stronger, more potential allies to strive towards like a common good. So whether that's for like the betterment of like getting like distinct identities for us even among like the US Census, or like for other issues, or just for like understanding, I see you guys as like potential for producing like the results that we are all like striving for here. Because I think that, didn't we like speak a little bit like on Instagram about how like probably like some other communities are a little bit reluctant, like maybe like the Black community might be a bit reluctant to like build like some kind of like Black and brown alliance. Now that's understandable. It's just because usually people who are like monoracially identifying, which again is okay, they're not really going to have like the full grasp of what mixed race identity is, along with the social implications that comes along with being mixed. So therefore that's okay, but then again, we still have to kick the dust off our feet and keep it moving. So therefore, how about those like me and Magic connect with people who actually can understand it to like the fullest extent? And that would be basically you guys, along with everybody else who is watching, along with everybody else here on the panel.
Yeah. I want you to answer a question, because I think I seen this comment pop up twice. This is from Marquise. He says that they want to be called mixed because they view being Negro as negative. Do you got anything to say about that?
Yeah, I've been actually seeing Marquise's comment. So Marquise, we're not trying to secede from you. We're not trying to secede from anybody. What we would like for people to do is understand that being biracial or mixed race or mulatto or HAPA or Blasian, whatever you want to call it, it comes with a distinct form of experience. So you're not Black enough, but at the same time, you're too Black for others. So that comes with a completely different set of experiences and a completely different set of social implications. I'm 30 years old. I know exactly what I have gone through throughout my existence. I was once bullied by Black kids. And then, hey, there were even some white kids who didn't feel for me either. So that in itself lets you know that actually being mixed race or mulatto or biracial, it's something completely different. So regardless of whether somebody wants to say, well, I don't want to be Black, I don't want to be white. Well, you guys are right. I don't want to be either of those two things because that's not what I am. And also, again, it comes with a completely different kind of experience, which is where the Latinos could probably understand it far better than somebody like Marquise.
Yeah.
Shout out. Comment?
Wait, real quick. Shout out to you. Hazel is gonna go first, and then Denise, you can make the comments. Hold on. Hazel, same question goes for you, but also Hazel sent me a little stat. She goes like, the mixed race community in the United States is who we should really be connecting with. Stats show that in 2038, Latinos and mixed race people will be the majority of America. I'm glad that we're having this conversation. Let's keep on connecting with other people.
That's what I said. We're gonna be the majority. Exactly.
So Hazel, what is your take?
You
Go ahead.
You could let Denise go before me. I'm kind of in the middle of something.
Okay. Denise, go ahead.
And then I'll go after her.
Okay. Denise, go ahead.
I wanted to piggyback from what George Squadron said. It's funny that people like Marquis make that commentary, because when we try to explain to people our Black heritage, our Black cards get stripped from us. But the minute that we're trying to unite with other people that share our same experiences in our same ethnic group, we get shamed as if being Black is a shameful thing that you should run away from. So it's a little funny when we are put in this position. It's almost as if we're receiving the anger from majority FBA folks that they for some reason want to keep us separated. Like for some reason, what are you scared of if we unite with people that have the same experiences as us? Racially ambiguous people for some reason need to be united because we're basically in a social political limbo. We're too black for white folks and too light for black folks. So where do we exist? Well, we exist in our own community that we are forced to create because we tried knocking on doors and they have slammed those doors in our faces. Now, that does not mean we hate people. We love people and we will love to integrate to society. We're just asking for the door to be cracked open. And it's a little unfair sometimes when we hear people tell us all the time where we don't belong, but the minute we say, okay, if we don't belong, we're not going to stay out here like beggars. We're going to form a community so we can have our own home, even if it's a little casita. So why that it's also bad? You get my point?
Yeah,
So it's
no,
it's kind of weird.
I understand where you're coming from, and even me being part indigenous from from my mother's side from Ecuador, I get certain individuals talking about, well, you're not really indigenous because you're not black and we're the original people and all this all this other nonsense. And when I'm like, well, my mom speaks Quechua, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know Quechua, but I'm learning Quechua. So what is your original language? Then they go out in some other, type of tangent where they are the gatekeepers for who you really are, and they're the only ones that could stamp your your legitimate race type of thing. You know what I mean? It's like really, really, really weird. But
Yeah,
Hazel,
it's
you wanna
something. It's something. I'm gonna add something real quick. It's something that I am going to be very watchful, and I'm gonna ask your permission, Rat, to use some clips because I know this stream is going to be triggering to people that literally are trying to just keep us in social political limbo.
yeah.
And this is mere dirty competition. I want my biracial folks and my Latino folks that have seen on display all the journey that Radical Latino has had for years for Black and Brown unity. I want you guys to realize that this is just a dirty trick to keep us in social political limbo by some folks. I'm not saying everyone, but there is a select group that likes to question why, as if we should not unite and create our own stuff. This is how they keep us at the bottom. This is how they keep us out of the race. We need to actually mind our own business, unite with the ones that want to unite with us, that are looking past the color of our skin, or if we have quote unquote good hair or green eyes or whatever. If they want to unite too, they are more than welcome because we are past this nonsense.
Yes.
But watch them closely.
I want to highlight a couple of comments real quick, and then I'm gonna move to Hazel, and then anybody who wants to talk about the comments that are highlighted or wants a response, please do so after everybody.
Answer the question. I didn't hear the question either.
Yeah, I got you, bro. After everybody is already done talking, one of the questions is, well, one of the comments that I'm highlighting is, you want to be called mixed, simply stay at your home country. This is hypocritical to bash colorism, yet migrate to America and want to change it. That's from Marquise. Whoever wants to answer that, please do so later on because I want Hazel and Anthony to go. Just keep that in your mind. I'll definitely highlight it again. Kevin C goes, what are ongoing / currents on strong biracial non-black mixed social movements that exist in the U.S. Friends is one thing, allies is another. Oh, okay, cool. And for the big $20, oh goddamn, $20, I could buy some Chipotle with that. Mixed race people who always existed in the United States. For example, Louisiana Creoles. However, mixed people were pillars in the civil rights movement in the U.S. Good example through Good Marshall, Rosa Parks, amongst others. Shout out to them. Now, Hazel, I want you to go, and then I'm gonna repeat the question for Anthony, and then we could all join into the conversation. So, Hazel, you sent me some of the stats, and you said that this unity needs to happen. Go ahead. Speak your piece.
Hey everyone. Thank you for having me on again. Yes, according to the 2020 census, a lot more people were brave enough and confident enough to check off that mixed race. We going by the information that I've been seeing, not only from 2020, but at least from 2016, that by 2038, like you said, we will be the mixed race, no matter what mixed race, there's 2 races or more, and Latinos will be the majority of this country. We will be the big bulk of the voting population,
Of the population,
jobs, business, right. So I think it's a good idea to, because we already live in communities with each other. And these are things that Magic Mulata and Jojo and I have spoken about in the discourse when I was in the Discord. And, you know, throughout the months that I've been hanging out with the biracial and the mixed race groups, you know, being a Latina and hanging out with them, I learned a lot. And we actually have a lot of similarities. I'll get into that if you give me a chance later on.
Yeah,
but we are more alike ancestrally. A lot of times we get mixed up phenotypically with each other. And it's if you see already that you're already living amongst each other and you get along, just like Magic and Georgia will tell you that they've got along, most of their safety have been with us Latinos, living amongst us. We're already okay. We already have this you know, connection and peaceful living amongst each other. And I think that should continue, because not only does the stat show that we will be the majority, but also that we already live amongst each other. We share similar values. And, you know, family is very important. I know marriage is very important to, you know, our side and their side.
Hazel, it's funny you say that, is because back when I used to be young, you know, out here in the streets, I was dating this biracial chick, and I took her to like a Latino lounge, and she told me I kind of felt a little weird about it, because she was like, yeah, I felt really safe. And I'm like, the hell you talking about? You felt really safe? She was like, yeah, I thought there was gonna be a fight, there was gonna be a shootout or something, but none of that stuff happened. I'm like, nah, we're just chilling and dancing bachata. That's it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
we have other people in the biracial and mixed race sector and on the YouTube will say that one of them has married someone and learned she married a Puerto Rican man, and she learned the culture there. So, like I said before, culture is taught. You won't have culture if you're not taught it. But you know what? I think it's very important for all of us to learn each other's cultures as well. This is how we will understand each other. Maybe feel less threatened by each other. You're gonna take, you know, resources from my community. Maybe we should start learning more about each other, the food, clothing, all of that, so we can understand each other better.
Yeah.
Because in my view, we're human. At the end of the day, we're humans, and we all want to eat and live. We want to survive, right? That is what we want to do. That's what we're naturally. That's what we're wired to do. But instead of fighting each other all the time, how about we come together, look for common goals, live amongst each other? Like I said, we're already doing that, and be peaceful about it. We don't have to fight each other for resources. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
And anyone else who wants to come along for the ride, you know, anybody else, the Black community, the Asian community, the Caucasian community, all of you can come on for the ride. But don't try to be a roadblock. Don't try to throw a wrench in the thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, you're right. I'm gonna move it to Anthony, and the question was, do you see that the biracial and multiracial communities actually uniting with Latinos, since we do have here in America some similarities in experience? That's for Anthony right there. Anthony,
you can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I would say just to piggyback off what everyone is saying, I feel like there already is a unity there. Like, I don't feel like there's any type of beef between, you know, mixed people, biracial people, and Latinos. So it's kind of like, that's why when I seen the topic, I was like, yeah, I don't really see there's a beef. Of course, people online are going to try to make beefs up, like, oh, the mixed people are trying to pretend to be Latino or whatever, right? Just to kind of sow division. But I think there is a unity there because of because we're mixed, right? So when you look at y'all, we're looking at people that look like us, and it's vice versa. Like, you know, I go into houses, people say, "Oh my gosh, you look, I thought you were straight up guala." You know what I'm saying? Like they put me my whole, like my whole life when I used to have my braids. So I'm like, even they go going and getting their grandma, like, look,
yo,
what do you
I'm
think
not
he
gonna
is?
lie, Anthony. I'm not gonna lie. You look wild Puerto Rican, bro.
Yeah,
I'm not
everybody
gonna
says
lie.
that, but I think it's
Yeah.
because they're Italian, so I got those like Latin
Okay,
features.
okay.
So that's probably why it mixed up like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there is kind of a unity because again, when we're looking at people that look exactly like us, like for example, like in the Black community, right? Like there's not really that many mixed people, right? Like when I was growing up, it's like you're like the almost the only one in school. So it's kind of like the only people who, you know, look like you are going to be like what? The Puerto Ricans. Because like where
Yeah.
I'm from, there's a lot of Puerto Ricans. So those are the people who look like you. So naturally, you kind of fit in. It's kind of weird. It's like, because you can have a culture that's like Black American, but you fit in more with Puerto Ricans based off just how you look.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I've noticed that my whole life. But definitely, I think Hazel was talking about the stats in the future. That's definitely a fact. Like, as we can see right now, it seems like white America and Black America is like self-destructing. Like, that's just what I'm seeing. So it's kind of like we're like in the middle. Like, we're trapped in the middle. And we're kind of like, okay, we're going to be the majority population, like mixed people. Obviously, majority is going to be Latino, but the majority is going to be mixed people. And we're going to have to learn how to like, how are we going to navigate this country?
Yeah,
We're going to be in control.
Now let me ask you, Anthony, real quick, and then I'm gonna give it to everybody else so people could answer some of the chats. So let's say 2050, everybody's mixed, right? In the Latino community, there's a lot of tribalism about stupid shit like who speaks Spanish better, who got better hair, you know, little tits and tats like that, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that might, like in 2050, 26, everybody's mixed? Do you think that might surface like team straight hair or team AC3 hair or whatever the case is? You know, do you think that might happen? Because let's be honest, as human beings, there's always things that we always find with each other to find flaws in and try to beef with each other. You know what I mean? Let's be honest, we're not all perfect. So do you think that might happen or no?
I mean, I would ask you, I'll question right back. Like, so do you think that's going on right now in Latin America?
Well, yeah, of course it is. That's the reason why I'm asking, because, you know, let's be honest, in Latin America, everybody's mixed, right? So we beef with each other about dumb stuff. Oh, my teeth are straighter than yours. You know what I mean? Like, it's like stupid stuff. So that's what I'm saying.
I would say I think it will. I think there'll still be remnants of like slavery there, because we still do have that good hair, bad hair thing. So I think there'll be remnants of that, but people are probably going to look so similar that I think people are just not going to care. You know what I mean? They're just it's not going to be that big of a deal. It might be there, but it's not going to be that big of a deal.
Gotcha. Now, anybody could go. Denise, if you want to go, no religion, you could go. Anybody could go. But who wants to give Marquise this? Who wants to answer this to Marquise?
I can go.
Okay, you could go, and somebody who wants to piggyback off of her, go right ahead.
And I'm gonna try, because I know I've been lately very long-winded, but one thing I would say is, like, do you guys remember when I was talking about, especially your article, when I talk about how our FBA brothers and sisters, just as Latinos have to do it, we have to assimilate into one single America? And I got a lot of resistance from the FBA saying that they don't have to assimilate, that they don't have to integrate to society, even though they have died claiming that they want to be integrated. Well, they're fighting to keep two Americas, Black America and the rest of America, because unfortunately we're grouped up with white people as well, because we're non-Black. So how is it that is it okay to have Black America and then white America, but biracial folks are now and mixed people are supposed to just leave the country in order for them to just advance a space where they can exist and get along with each other? Why is it that the standards only apply to certain people? It goes back to everything we talk about. We have a different standards for non-Black folks, and we have different standards for Black folks. So it's so weird when we hear this commentary, because if you flip it and throw it back at them, for example, I can say to Marquis, you want to be called Black simply to stay in your home country. It's hypocritical to bash white supremacy, yet stay in America and want to change it. So again, what will be his response to that? Do you get? I don't know
I
if you
think
get
he's
my
saying
point.
that, Denise, because if you could, no offense, Marquise, but if you could look at his picture, it looks like he's in an interracial relationship. So I think it's more of like a guilt thing. Like he doesn't want to feel bad about stepping out of the Black community. So he wants his kids to call themselves
Wait,
Black.
so let me
I
ask
would
the
also like to
let me
say
So that's
something
wrong.
too.
wait, wait,
after-
let,
That's
wait,
wrong.
wait,
Marquise the
hold on,
passport, bro.
wait,
I wanna say something
Hazel,
afterwards.
Hold on, wait. Let me ask the panel something. Do you think that some people who go into this type of go back to your country, well, mixed people are this and this and this? Do you think they secretly have like a fetish for light skinned folks or mixed folks, and that's the reason why they trying to compensate by bashing? Is that the reason why? What do you guys think?
I think they have a very colonized mindset and they need healing. That's what I think.
Okay. Anybody else?
So
But
I
the
think
thing
that
with
when it
Wait. Let mix revolution go, and then Hazel,
my
you'll go.
apologies. My
Yeah,
apologies. Sorry about that.
yeah,
go
no
ahead.
worries. So I just want to be quick though, I guess, on in regards to like Marquise' comment. So bro, like you're talking about like three like separate topics. So what is it? Is it like mixed race identity and not wanting to be such? And now colonialism is now in the picture, and now immigration to America is one thing. So like you're talking about like three separate topics. So which one is it?
Yeah, and Hazel, you could go ahead because I know you want to. And to answer your question, I don't know what Marquise is talking about. I'm gonna go referring to the first comment that he made, talking about I think you guys say mixed because y'all think Negro is bad. So I think this is the continuation of it. I don't know. I don't know, but Hazel, go right ahead.
I think he's speaking to the biracial group, to the couple of biracial folks that's in here. That may be addressed to Mulata and George, but I'm sorry, he has a different name. I'm sorry, he knows what I'm talking about. Mr. Marquise over here is a passport bro. This is the same dude a month ago that went on another man's channel saying that Black men would rather mess with the Latin community's whores than be with Black women.
Well,
See, you can't have it both
goddamn.
ways. This
Really?
is, let me tell you something. This is not something
Hazel
that
pulling
made
the
up.
receipts.
Really? He said that? Nah, come on, yo, Marquise, yo, come on, bro.
Okay. I'll tell you who to go to. He's called the Besso Man Live. He's the expose on this guy. The lady in the profile picture is not his wife. It turns out he has a dark-skinned Black wife, but he constantly bashes Black women, and then he goes around and saying that Latina women would rather be with Black men because they have bigger schlongs or whatever it is, that they're better.
Whoa.
So I don't know why is he trying to play both sides of the fence here, but this is a person who doesn't even like his own race of women. He has been caught lying.
Wait, hold on, real quick. For Hazel's husband, you better be careful because apparently she's a detective and she be finding out a bunch of things about you. Go ahead, Hazel. Go ahead.
Listen, Marquise has been around for a while. I know he has issues with Chem 123. I don't care for Chem 123 either.
Yeah.
But Mr. Marquise here has some very anti-Latino sentiments on his own platform.
He does?
Yes, you have to look at it. You have to go in his older videos, and he has said some things on the Peso Man Lives channel.
Yeah.
Where he's very anti-Black woman, but then you want to come over here and say that Black, white, biracial people only want to claim mixed because they don't like their Blackness, and now they want to attach themselves to the Latino immigrants.
Yeah,
that's disingenuous to say. You shouldn't be saying stuff like that.
Yeah, shout out to Hazel. She's coming with the receipts. Real quick, I'm gonna throw a question at everybody else, but real quick, Big T says, "I'm glad that the mixed community is going to grow, overgrow." Shout out to Big T. Kevin C says, "No one has to leave their home country." Yes. Truth Teacher says the colorism issues are always going to be there unless we make a conservative effort to address those ideas. What do you guys have to say about that? Is that true? False?
I agree with that.
Stop passing it down to your kids. Stop teaching your children. I was never taught colorism. I was never taught none of that. I was never taught that I'm better than because I'm light skinned or dark. I never was taught.
But you know what eradicates those things?
What?
It's kind of like what I was explaining in the chat earlier, mixing. Unfortunately, people will never understand the other side of the fence until they are forced to do so. And through marriage and mixing, two communities come together.
It
And
does make you realize,
even though you're uncomfortable with one side or the other, the more mixing continues, the more comfortable people are going to become around each other, because they're going to have to self-regulate to be around family. We are seeing it even in Latin America, where mixing, heavy mix Latin countries, not the ones that are still in the process, but heavily mixed Latin countries, you can see the relationships of the people are way better than the ones that are still racially segregated. The only thing that can bring them apart might be political ideologies, but other than that, they are very, very much united, because that concept of black, white, or brown, it's blurred completely. Does that make sense?
That does. Let me ask the panel something. Out of every community, right, there's always going to be some good and bad, right? Let's be completely honest. I think me and Mixed Race Revolution were talking about this. There are some mixed and biracial people who are on the extreme side, who talk, bad things about dark-skinned people. Also, there are Latinos who are on the extreme side, who talk bad about black folks and all this other stuff. We don't even have to point out names. Those things do exist. Now, I feel like certain individuals will use those people as the representative for the whole community. How can we try to combat that?
Ooh, I got a good one. So I think that people hyper focus on the negatives of other communities. That's what I think, but you got to be neutral and look at both sides, and not like only view the negatives in this community. You got to look at the positive. There's always positive, negative within everything and everyone.
But Mulata, it's always fun to just say a hot take. It's all a yabo. No, let me stop.
You know what, like, radical though, is that the way I look at that is that we can talk about each other's flaws and shortcomings all day long.
That's true.
We can do this all day long.
That's
so
true.
Or I'm like going to be like, are you guys going to distract yourselves with each other's like flaws and shortcomings all day long? Or are you guys going to try to connect on what values and good precepts and morals you guys could actually build upon? Because long story short, the world needs edification. Yet you have to be edified, and so does our people. But how can you guys edify one another if you guys are just going to basically finger point at one another? That in itself is just the ego speaking, when we want to finger point and not really look into ourselves.
I want to talk about, people talking about, we're just uniting to the fact to unite. But I kind of want to go back to what No Religion was talking about. So I did a stream talking about like, how can biracial people compete in this society or whatever. And so I pulled up some, wealth income facts or whatever. So multiracial people and Hispanic people are like at the bottom, right? So it's like Latino people, they're at the bottom when it comes to like income, according to the census, and then multiracial people, granted, that could be anything. That could be mulattoes, Eurasian, like they're just lumped all together. So they're like right above the Latino when it comes to income. And then I did like the 1%, and the wealth equality is extreme in every single community: white community, Asian community, black community, Latino, every single community. The 1%, like the wealth gap is like extreme. So I do want to unite with like all communities, all Americans, black, white, Asian, to fix that wealth equality gap, like all of us uniting against like the 1%.
Because the way I see it is like, there's a Chinatown in almost every major city, right? Everybody up in there is not Chinese. They're Chinese, Japanese, Filipinos, and stuff like that. But what they come together is economically. They come together economically, and then
empowerment.
Exactly. And then they come, and then their traditions and cultures are kind of second, but they're not forgotten. I think that Latinos and mixed race communities could come together economically first, and then we could take care about culture and traditions after. But once our foundation, the base that we should be working on, is economic first. Do you guys agree with that?
I agree with that, because I already support, Hispanic owned businesses. I go to like shopping. I already do that. I already do try to support your community, because we don't have nothing. Like we don't have no communities. We don't have anything. So
I think it should be
Black-owned business as well, too. Of course, I do. You know,
I think it should be like more like a tandem effect. You know,
What you mean? What you mean? What you mean?
a tandem effect is like it has to be from both sides. We have to get on the political side and the financial side, simply because if we only get on the financial side, policies will affect us and will be easy to be attacked and set back. But if we have both things to leverage with, like if we start, for example, making political moves at the same time that we're working on our finances and our financials area, then we can start seeing tangible progress in a short amount of time. I'm talking about probably in a decade, you know, because these things are going to take at least 1 decade for us to start seeing results. But we gotta start, you know, with steps today in order to move forward.
I agree. And I like what Afro said about all poor people from the class should unite against the elite class. I'm totally.
I wanted to say something.
Wait, real quick. Wait. Hold up. I gotta address something. Wait. Hold on. Yeah, I just want to unite because Latinos are gonna take our women, bro.
See, this is why people are scared,
bro. Yo, what does that have to do with?
Sounds like paranoid schizophrenia, to be quite honest.
What does that have to do with anything? What does that have? We're not talking about taking nobody's women. We're talking about uniting two communities. If a union after having, you know what I mean? If a union, you know what I mean? No, but still, nobody cares about that. Like, relax.
But you know what's crazy though? That shows it goes back to what we talk about the concept of both white and black supremacy. I think there is a tone deaf claims that we're making that both the white and the black spectrum, and I'm not talking about everyone, but I'm talking about certain areas of people, they have not realized that they integrated so much with one another that their supremacy mindset or their supremacist viewpoints, it's speaking through to the fact that, you know, you have to fight this racially ambiguous people because they make us scared. We don't know what they are. They refuse to classify themselves into a box. And that makes people nervous, especially when we're coming together to have conversations to better ourselves.
Yo, Radical, when that comment was saying that, who was he talking about?
I think he was.
Who was he talking
I've heard this too when I was talking about
I believe he was referring to the mixed race community, saying, I just want to unite because Latinos are going to take our. I think he's referring to the mixed race community. So he's Anthony, you got something to say about that?
Okay, yeah, because it seems to me like this guy's a troll. He's probably pretending to be mixed and saying, like, because it doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, okay, what point of view is he coming from? Is he coming from the point of view he's a mixed person?
But Anthony, this is not the first time I heard this before, bro. I think before I started the stream, like I had 2 people on Twitter hit me up with the same thing. Yeah, I just want to get light-skinned women. I'm like, yo, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? It's a little. But in your point of view, what do you think?
I think that's just stupid. I've seen plenty of like, biracial women dating Puerto Rican dudes. I never felt some type of way like, oh no, he got one of my women. Like, you know what I mean? Like most mixed people don't even understand that mixed women are kind of like in this country considered your women, right? We don't even think like that. So it's like, I don't know. It just sounds like some division right there.
I'm just curious. Do the women have a choice in this matter? They're getting taken?
That's a great question. You know,
hell no, say that.
I know they gotta stay in the kitchen. I'm just playing. I'm playing.
People think that women in the new modern era that we are in arranged unions still, because they assume that we are not making these conscious choices to date whoever we prefer to date. And we're supposed to only prefer people that resemble us. Otherwise, we're sellouts or we're some type of racist somehow. It's so weird, the world that we're living in. And it points me back to what George Squadron was saying when he said that we should not focus on these petty arguments. I love the point that he brought up, because these are the ways that we get distracted from the big things. And I think we are stepping into a momentum right now, because we're not abandoning anyone, neither we're abandoning the notion of Black and brown unity. What we're abandoning is the need to prove ourselves to any group in order to come together. So at this point, what we can do is just when we see petty fights, it's just show these people with example, lead by example, that we're above that, because there's more pressing matters in the mix that need to be addressed.
Facts. People
Yeah,
are
yeah,
dating
yeah.
who they want at the end of the day. Like, I do promote, like, biracial people coming together, because we barely do it. Biracial
Yeah.
people usually don't date each other at all in the first part. So we got to address that issue.
Really?
Of why we don't come to, yeah, I got a stream coming up on Friday about why we don't even really date each other. For the
Oh,
most
that's
part,
weird. I thought y'all do.
No, for the most part.
Damn. What was it? I'm gonna put the link for the stream out in a couple of minutes. But let me I want to start with No Religion, and then I'm gonna work my way down. No Religion. Have you ever heard certain people saying that you can't be an activist, or I'm sorry, you can't be an ally because you're indigenous, you're Latino, and your people did this and this and this in 1877? Have you ever heard those type of rhetorics?
Yeah, I get told stuff like that all the time by all sorts of groups, even my own people. So I just honestly, man, I just stay true to myself and to who I am, and just not let people tell me who I am, pretty much.
How do you combat that?
I don't know, man. It just it's a case by case thing. If you say something wild like the last guy did, well, sometimes you got to come at ignorant stuff with like a
Yeah.
joke and just laugh it off.
Yeah.
Or if someone like Marquise is coming at you, all you can really say is, well, I hope you heal, buddy. Because that's if we all focused on that, on just being a better version of ourselves each and every day, man, the world would change in a heartbeat.
Yeah. I'm gonna address Magic Mulata and mixed race, the Revolution, and Anthony. Have you guys ever were told by the black community you guys can't be allies because either you're not black or you too light skinned or whatever the case is?
So what we get told is that we can't be the face of black movements because we're not fully, like Colin Kaepernick, like he got so disrespected. He gave up his whole career trying to like fight against like police brutality, and he didn't get no respect for it. It's like he got laughed at. Like it's nothing like he really. So that's what we get told. We get told that because most biracial people identify as black, and we go hard for the black community. We want to see changes in the black community. We love the black community. And half of our families in the black community, so of course we want to see it do better. And so a lot of us become, most biracial people become super pro-black and want to see changes. But we get told, hey, you're not black, you can't be the face of this movement. You got to take the back seat. You got to, hey, don't sit here and try to be the forefront. Like we want our image. You don't represent our image. So that's what we get told.
Because some of them might be like, you think you light skin and better, you stay over there. Like, is that because I've heard that also.
I got a couple of ways to look at it. Some ways that might be a little controversial. Like,
Go
I got
ahead.
a theory about it, like where I feel like a lot of specifically black men don't like seeing mixed men like fight for the black community, because almost like they feel like a type of like envy. Like, because I feel like with us, I don't feel like we're afraid of white people like a lot of black men are, because we lived with them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm not afraid of white people at all.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've never, like, you know what I mean? You know how some black people, like, they'll talk to a white person, they start acting like different, like they start changing their voice. But with us, it's like we're a lot more confident because we grew up with somebody who was, white. So I feel like a lot of black people in the pro-black community get kind of like self-conscious, like almost like, how could Colin Kaepernick do that and we couldn't do that? So instead of what I'm going to do is I'm going to shame him and say, well, you get paid all this money and you're not even really black. And really, it's just insecurity.
Yeah, he grew up privileged and all this stuff. How can you be black? How can you be black?
Can I say something real quick? We only have
say something
15
real quick.
likes. We have only
Go ahead.
15 likes and there's 55 people. And I get it. A lot of people love the conversation. But if you wanted to continue, you gotta start liking the video.
Get them likes up. Get the goddamn likes up. I wanna give this question to the whole panel. Shout out to Puerto Rican. Puerto Rican, shout out to you, but I don't know what this means, but I'm gonna read it. You guys want to team up with people who are just as confused as Black Americans, and you think that's going to work? Question mark.
All
I
right,
don't.
so I actually do want to answer that actually though.
Okay,
So
go ahead. Go, you got the.
all
You
right,
got
all
the.
right. So like,
you got the
I've
floor, bro.
actually, you know what? Actually, like Magic, you've already saw the video that I addressed already in regards to confusion and us being confused or not.
Mhm. Yes.
We are far from confused. We know precisely what we are. It's just so many of us are just trying so hard to fit in, and we're willing to do such radical things just to position ourselves favorably in our chosen communities, whatever that may be. So whether that is us, the mulatto types who are just trying so hard to be pro-black, well, he still knows what he is. He's just trying to fit in, and he's doing what he's doing just to prove himself. Because ultimately, like the black community, they know that if they are going to like have like the mulatto types work with them, they are going to have to prove their blackness. So if I were to get on that bandwagon, I still know what I am. I still know what my family is. I still have a bunch of white cousins that I love. I still know who I am. So I'm far from confused. You can't be confused if you already know what you are. It's just you're just out and about trying to be something you really aren't. So
That's
actually, on the
I'm-
contrary, Panarican, no, we're not confused. Now, during like the stage of racial consciousness, which is usually around high school, junior high, we get told, hey, what are you? Are you this? Are you that? Are you this or that? I've been getting told that pretty much for the 30 years that I've been on this planet. In that beginning stage, sure, you start off as confused, but that's a phase. By the time you're out of high school and you're already a grown man, you know what you are. You're not a dummy. It's just because of the fact that much of the world still thinks in binary terms. I'm here to say that we actually do not have to conform to the binary thinking patterns of this world, especially in racial binary terms, which is what the US is still very subsumed in. So, Puerto Rican, we are far from confused. I am not confused. Magic is not confused. Now, I don't even take what you say personal at all, but I just wanted to just rebuttal on that. So, bro, I'm not confused. So, therefore, if you're Latino, I just see you as a good ally. You're like a good close cousin to me. I'm not trying to steal, quote unquote, your woman, and I'm not trying to, quote unquote, mark as Latino, or I'm not trying to dilute your culture. Still have your culture, still have your women, but that doesn't really mean that we can't grow up and understand each other and be mature. So I just thought I'd rebuttal there and just interject my 2 cents.
Got it. Anybody wants to add to that?
Can I say something real quick? I'm going to say 2 things. The wolf is always going to be the villain if Red Riding Hood keeps telling the story. Okay. You can see in the past 6 streams we've done trying to, work through the differences with the Black spectrum and how different the conversation is with people that refuse to apply the same standards that we applied for years on Latinos, on themselves, but you're seeing a conversation here that serves as a very small sample, very small. I am aware of that, but it's a very small sample of how different the conversation goes with the quote unquote confused people. So the proof is it's out here. We're having a conversation. We're not having to overtalk each other. People are not trying to lie to themselves. People are not trying to run away from uncomfortable questions. We're actually all here letting each other speak without having to, paint ourselves as angels delivered from the sky. That is not the sentiment that we have received from the Black spectrum. And I know it's not every Black person in the spectrum, because we do have the good ones that are still rocking with us. We're talking about the ones that use the FBA talking points to pay themselves as saints, as if we have to kiss their ring in order for them to unite with us. And that's not what we're seeing from this spectrum. And I'm just speaking about what I am experiencing. So at the end of the day, No, we want to team up with people that have common values, and if that takes us to China, then with China is going to be.
Gotcha. Anybody wants to add in? And
Yeah, I'll add something to that.
go ahead.
I
Yeah, go
agree.
ahead, Anthony.
I agree. I think his name is, I can't see his name on there, but I think it's George or is it George or?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
It's just
yeah, I would
Mixed
say
Race Revolution is just my IG
Okay.
name, since that's where my brand is. But yeah, it's George Orr
Okay.
here.
Yeah, I 100% agree with him. People always trying to push that mixed, not mixed, that confused like title on mixed people, but they're not realizes that when mixed people are saying, I've said this a million times on my channel, but people still don't understand. It's like when people are saying they're black, they're not saying they're not also white, or they're not saying that they're not mixed. They're saying pretty much they align, or culturally they're more like you. Doesn't mean they're trying to be you. And again, I'm sure that George Orr and Magic, we all know, at least on one side, exactly where our ancestors are coming from. Like I know the town, my Italian side comes from in Italy. So I can't, how am I confused if I know exactly where I'm from? It makes no sense. I know exactly where my father's side is from. But I think nobody should be saying that we're confused. And the time I always hear it comes from the black community. And I would say that they're the most confused in the country. I mean, we got like the Moors, the Hebrew Israelites, the American Indians now. Like we have all these groups that looks like confused to me. And then you got some people who are saying that they're Egyptian gods and all this stuff, but then they try to project and say you guys are the ones that are confused. But like he said, I think we try to ally with them.
Wait. So Anthony, you can't read the Meta Nedger backwards and astral project and fly and
the whole separate, okay?
No,
Yeah, I also wanted to add on to what you were just telling the panel and everybody else in here, Anthony. We're not confused, but yet society is the one that's truly confused as to who we are, because let's just be real here, America is just having one huge identity crisis.
That's true.
They're the ones telling everybody what you are and what you're not.
That's not America in itself is having identity crisis. With all these people, everybody immigrated over here and then they lose their culture, and then that's why they start identifying as black or white, because you can't really identify as like German. You don't have nothing to do with German culture, In Africa, like we can't really identify with Africa because we are 4, 5, 6 generations removed from there. So it's like that's why people are so clinging to race, because there's no culture. The culture's been lost from their ancestors. So that's why.
I put the link out for the people who wants to come in. Don, I saw you in the back. I was gonna put you in, but it looks like you left. But the link is out there for people to come in and join the conversation.
Yeah, join the panel, Don.
But
I want to say something.
Come on up, guys.
I want to say something about
Go ahead.
what No Religion said about not letting people tell you who you are, because that's something that a lot of biracial people fell for. It's like, the police are going to see you as black. Everyone's going to see you as black, so that's what you are. And a lot of people
has a story for that.
Georgia has its own. But then they leave out that a lot of black people don't see us as black, so they're only looking at it from a white perspective of like, this is how white people are going to view you, so that's how you have to be. But it's like, no, but you guys leave out how black people are going to view us. But at the end of the day, I know who I am. I know what I am. I can't let other people tell me who I am and what I am at the end of the day. Okay.
Yeah. I wanna introduce Kevin C into the panel. Kevin C, what's going on?
Hi, Kevin. Good to talk to you.
Hello, Kevin. Before.
Hey, Kevin.
Hey, Jojo, man, what's up, man? He's a good dude, man.
Shout out to Kevin C. He's one of our scholars in the panel. So Kevin, do you got any points of view, anything that you want to talk about that you've been listening to?
Yeah, hey, first of all, shout out to Denise. You were on another panel and you asked some really good questions. Just want to acknowledge that. So you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, I know.
You did really well.
Don't be promoting other people in this channel, right? No, I'm just playing.
I just wanted to acknowledge that because I noticed her and I disagree quite a bit, but she was
just because
really
you're
on
the ghetto of YouTube, that don't mean nothing. Okay.
Hey, the ghetto's popping though.
She was really on point. She did really well in that other conversation. So shout out to her. Look, a biracial, mixed, and Latino alliance is probably a good thing. I don't see any issues with it. I'll say what I said the other day. As long as people are getting something out of it. And what you guys talked about, you talked about economic and political coming together, which is what really everybody should be doing. So yeah. And it seems that because there's some similarities and there's crossover. Because Latinos we know are mixed already, with 3 or 4 different groups, and then biracials and mixed folks from the Black community are also mixed, either with 1 or 2 or even 3. I'm sorry, 2 or 3 other groups. Then it makes sense that you guys have the similarities, and I can hear it in your conversation. You guys actually get along pretty well. Now, I understand that there's some biracials and mixed folks who are problematic, and those are the ones that we're gonna have trouble with, even as a Black man. And I'll mention this: folks like Meghan Markle. We all know her, so I'm using her as an example, not to push her around or beat up on her. But she went out of her way to say that she was biracial, never Black, and all this other stuff. And she didn't read until she actually went over to London. She actually said in an interview, "Oh, I finally know what it feels like to be Black." Like that seems kind of problematic. Like she should have actually.
Biracial people deal with that on all sides, though. That's the thing. That's not be a biracial experience.
Yeah, but it seems like she could have internalized her Blackness, Black culture, history, and issues and everything else.
Biracial. There's nothing wrong with biracial saying she's biracial.
Not a problem. She's biracial. They don't acknowledge her as being mixed race. They acknowledge her as being one.
Yeah, that's not problematic.
Wait, guys. Hold on, real quick. Hey, yo, Fighter, shout out to you. Got no problems with you, but bro, I can't let you come in here while you making videos about me, man. Peace. Gotta kick you out of here. All right, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, I would say I would have the expectation that a woman like her would have embraced it a long time ago. And you know what? I didn't really agree with the whole marriage thing anyway. I never thought Harry was making a good decision, not because she was biracial, just that she was older than him and all the other stuff and everything else. That being said, it's just very interesting that she waited till almost she's like 40 plus now, and she's talking about, oh, now I finally know what it feels like to be Black because she got all that hate in London. Like they saw her as somebody who was not completely.
Some people are late bloomers. You don't know.
Yeah,
no, you're right about that. Like Magic said,
and then the only other thing I would say about mixed folks is the ones who are like super white passing, and then they kind of use that to kind of toe the line. I've seen things where they say like racial slurs, and they know they're white passing, they know they look white, and you don't know that they're mixed, but until a light-skinned Black father shows up, and you're like, oh, okay, but they know how they look, they know how they move around in the world, but at the same time, you wouldn't know unless they tell you, or they literally internalize their Blackness, meaning that they know the history, the culture, they understand the issues and everything else. They can speak to that. And this is where, honestly, biracial and mixed folks can kind of be a bridge, I suppose, between Black and white folks, and then all the other groups and everything else, to include, Hispanics and probably the Asians. And the only thing I would say, somebody said something, and I'm gonna disagree with you, man. I like you, but I'm gonna disagree with you. Black men ain't afraid of white dudes. Look, we grew up around. Black men grew up around them. We see them. We see their flaws. We see their issues and problems. They are not. I'm gonna use Denise's line. They are not special. As a matter of fact, they're the ones that put a system in place to make sure that they stay on top. This is how I look at it. If you need a system that favors you and gives you benefits, privileges, rights, and all these special favors over everybody else, just so you can stay on top of everybody else, then how superior are you really? Black men have to compete in the system as is, with all the disadvantages that we have of being Black, whatever that is. All right, I'm gonna go into it. We all know what those are. All I'm saying is,
I think us biracial, multiracial people and the Black community really need to have a conversation too, and so we can unite, because I think there's a lot of misunderstanding between these groups, because it's still so taboo for even biracial people to claim they're biracial, because like you said in the earlier, it's like, oh, they hate their Blackness. That's the first thing we get told, but that's not true. There's so much mistruths about us coming from the Black community, and I really do want to address and face a lot, and so we can have some understanding, because we come from half of our family is from the Black community. We want to.
I wouldn't assume that right from the beginning. I just look at people's behavior.
Wait, real quick. Hold on. I gotta address this, and this is what I'm talking about. The FBA nonsense. Y'all aren't even a factor in any capacity. Whoa.
Well, but she just did the stats. Who put the stats in?
Whoa.
Okay, so
they're becoming more of a mixed group. Who just put the stats in?
Whoa.
Okay. So
what
then
are the
just
stats
disregard what that person said.
What happened?
No, what were the
Just
stats again? You said
disregard what that person is saying. I mean, this is someone that we just all agreed on that they're gonna throw a wrench in, you know, what we got going on here. They don't want to.
No, I'll tell you. Oh, wait, real quick, because I got somebody in the
We're
back.
not victims. Say biracial. I don't believe we're victims.
I got somebody in the back. Hold on. Wait. Hold up. Yo, Grits, what's going on?
Hey, pretty good. Very good conversation. Very good discussion. I'm the one who pretty much gave you the $20 in regards to.
Oh yeah. Shout out to you, bro.
You're very welcome. I mean, it's a very good conversation. I like this. I mean, because it's always been mixed race people who were pillars of the Black community. That's just a fact.
Absolutely, we love the Black community. We try to go hard for the Black community.
No, what I'm saying is back in the past.
That's what I'm talking about. And historically,
people like Thurgood. Yeah, historically, people like
Adam Clayton Powell, Thurgood Marshall,
Adam Clayton Powell,
Harry Belafonte,
Douglas,
exactly.
Yep.
W.E.B. Du Bois,
all those people. So they've always been that kind of, due to the whole one dropism in the United States, that forced alliance between Blacks and multiracials.
I understand it was a different time, though, bro. It was a different.
It was a different time, but still, you still do. Let me finish.
As well, but that
you still do have the old guard.
Yeah,
you still do have the old guard who believe in that whole, Black, regardless if you're admixed Black person or Black, people like Vanessa Williams. It's still that old thinking in regards to that. What with the new school,
that's what I'm saying. There's some they kind of work through that whole the issues and stuff. But if you're doing all the right things as a Black person, then we see you as Black. Matter of fact, most Black men are cool with Colin Kaepernick. Now the women, that's a whole.
It's like we have to prove
you women
our
have a whole
blackness.
different issue that you guys got to deal with.
That's problematic for us, that we feel like we have to prove our Blackness. It's like you have to do everything right, and then we see you as Black. That's the problem.
But I think it's a world difference. I think it's a world difference between biracials who grew up with, let's say, a different race parents versus a multiracial person of many generations, people like Prince, people like Vanessa Williams, and stuff like that.
Yeah, those are MGM people, the multiracial.
Right, MGA people who don't have that issue as far as, one of my parents is Black and one of them is white. They're kind of, in a way, still included in part of the Black community. We just say and mention, oh, they just light skin. You know what I mean? Whereas a multiracial person, not a multiracial person, with a biracial person with an actual white parent or actual Black parent or any other race parent, I think their difference in reality is different than a multiracial in some respects.
Absolutely. I've talked about that on my channel, the differences between a biracial person who have a one white parent, one Black, versus like an MGM experience, and how it's a lot different. I've talked about that on my channel.
It really depends on how you look.
What's the MGM thing?
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with
the
guys.
Multi-generationally, like two biracial people coming together and having kids, and then their kids are mixed, but they have two like biracial people.
Right, like people like Prince's grandparents.
I'm just playing.
People like Prince's grandparents,
like Lena Horne, people like that.
Russell Wilson, a good example, the football player.
Even like Terrence Howard, since both of his parents are actually a Black-white mix.
Yeah.
Also, these Latinos who are also they are Latinos are also, they can be many of them are multi-generationally mixed. Even it's just that we have a different culture. Even though we're talking about America, living in the United States of America, where we have a different culture than we would in in Latin America. But it's still a culture. But there is an important thing that I want to add here, is that even though black, white, biracials, mulattoes, they want to label it however they want to label, that was stripped away from them. This whole notion that they don't want to acknowledge certain things about or certain race is not true, especially if they have parents who have told them for years who they are. What I have not found, being in the mulatto or the biracial groups there, I chill with them. I hang out with them. Georgia and I have very similar ancestry. I'm Puerto Rican and Cuban, but I'm mixed race. We shared it in the Discord not too long ago, Georgia, if you remember. And
I do, yeah.
We share a lot. You would think that we're, related based off of that.
we understand that we have a different culture, even living in the United States. But there are a lot of similarities. This is where what I was trying to say earlier is that we are more alike than we are different. I'm not talking about culture. Culture is learned. You're not born with it. That is taught to you, right? But we have a unique thing going on here. We have
I think it's based on experience too here in America. So
that too.
yeah,
That's why I was just about to say that we have a unique thing going on here because we are taught our culture by our parents, even though we're living here in America and there's a different culture here. So
yeah.
we got
Real quick. Before Marquise is in the back, I'm about to let him in. But real quick, Grits, what is your opinion on the multiracial, biracial, and Latino unity? Do you support it? Do you see something that is already happening? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's been happening for quite a long time. I mean, if you look at the history of places like Louisiana, New Orleans, which I was really surprised.
Actually, yeah, that's true.
Going to New Orleans itself and going to somewhere called the Creole Plantation, which was pretty interesting and pretty thought-provoking as far as how the way slavery was conducted in New Orleans. You know, hearing from one of the people who were in charge of the tour, he talked about, you know, the French, but he also talked about the Spanish and how much New Orleans was part of Latin America. And I was like, huh, this is pretty interesting. This is pretty thought-provoking. And the whole class system thing they had in New Orleans, you know, we had, you know, mulattoes, octoons, quadroons, blacks, you know, whatever. They had those categories in Louisiana, which was under the French in Latin America. So in essence, part of the United States was part, or that part of the United States specifically was part of Latin America until the Anglos came and they pretty much changed the whole foundation as far as what it is. Like, for example, it was a girl who played in the Cosby Show, not Melissa Benet, who played
Lisa
one of the Cosby daughters. The other daughter, the older daughter. She's actually a Louisiana Creole.
Okay.
You know, and then if you look
everybody knows Lisa Bonet. I can't remember the other.
Right, but the other girl, and if you look at Bill Cosby's wife, you know, she kind of looked very, very admixed. His real wife, Camille.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the one who played Sammy, the one with, I know the other one you're talking about. She actually is mixed though. I think
No. Both of our parents are from Louisiana Creoles.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So
real quick, guys. I want to give a huge shout out to No Religion. He had to go. Thank you very much, No Religion, for coming in. First time, first time having you on my panel was great. Not, you know what I mean. So shout out to him. But real quick, real quickly, because I got Marquise coming in. Marquise, what's going on, bro?
What's up, man?
What up?
Oh, can I address something real quick before?
Wait, hold up, wait. So, Marquise, I know you had a lot of things to say in the chat. What are your thoughts on this whole thing?
Okay, first and foremost, like the biracial and multiracial group, being united with blacks was very important for us in the United States in the beginning. Just like the other brother was saying earlier, imagine a Thurgood Marshall and Malcolm X didn't see themselves as black. Like, imagine, we would have lost so many soldiers. We would have lost so many people. Divide and conquer is still a tried and true method. And I'm not saying you guys are like specifically doing it, but what you guys have figured out is that being middle management or being inside the house is a lot better than being in the field. So what you want to do is classify yourself as a different type. And that's, well, we're not black, so you don't got to treat us that way as other black people. Like, that's how I feel like it's trying to go with you guys in this conversation. You see what I'm saying?
But let me, Marquise. Wait, guys. One at a time. Hold on. Marquise, have you heard anybody say that, or do you feel like that's where it's going to?
I'm interpreting that as the way you guys are saying. Also, you guys are saying one of the guys, I'm not sure which one it was earlier, was saying how different their mindset was towards than it was in African Americans or black people, but yet, when he saw my profile picture, the first thing he did was go straight at my wife for being lighter skinned. That sounds ADOS to me.
Okay. Anybody wants to address Marquise?
So, like, what I want to say though is, like, Marquise, so I have like no qualms about you at all. I personally wouldn't mind actually forming like a solid like black and brown unity, even with a black community, or better yet, an alliance. But it's just what I want is just a full-blown recognition of my identity. It doesn't mean that I'm trying to secede from anybody, but it does also mean that, hey, you know what? I am pretty different. I have a very distinct experience that only somebody like Magic Mulata can really 100% understand to the fullest extent. But this does not mean that I want nothing to do with you or the Black community. So it's not me saying that I want nothing to do with wanting to be like what you said, like a Negro or something. That's not
in the
me.
house, in the house,
It's that if my identity is not going to be respected, and if it's going to be scoffed at or invalidated, that's where we're going to run into some serious issues.
I guess the problem would stem from is because we all know in New Orleans they had something called the paper bag test. And if you weren't lighter than a paper bag in New Orleans, you would not get in. And it was kind of like that division.
Blue vein society.
Yeah. It was a division between Blacks and ethnic people in New Orleans in that time. Until, like obviously the civil rights struggle started happening. Even to this day, I know some Creole people who pretty much say to other Creoles, you should stick to your own race and not mix with other, with the Blacks.
Really?
There's been issues between the mulatto mixed race people and the Black community.
Can I say something real quick?
Okay,
also?
Denise, go ahead.
This is my thing. We're already gaining, like I said earlier, momentum on this conversation. I'm seeing the chat going insane among slow taps getting triggered and FBA Tariq Queeners getting triggered by this conversation. It's not a coincidence that both groups are the ones that we have been pushing against in order to facilitate a union. But at the same time, I want folks to understand we can't, like George's Squadron said earlier, when it comes to how much of Black we have, how much of white we have, how much of indigenous do we have, we need to once again lead by example and start leaving these folks that are trying to make us have a conversation to prove either our whiteness or Blackness or indigenousness, for the lack of a better word. We need to leave them to the side.
Facts.
That conversation about how Black or white or whatever we are, that's none of our concern. Okay, we gotta focus on what's at hand. If these people want to stay in the racial binary stupidity that they live in, fine, let them be there. We have more important things to do, and that's what we wanted to do from the get-go.
Yeah, I want to address what are the benefits for, so that's something that's on topic. Let's get back on the topic. So what are the benefits of multiracial and Latino? So let's be real here. We don't bring nothing to the table. We don't have a community. We don't have numbers. We don't have power. We don't have really anything to really bring to the table. But only thing I really want is to maintain a positive relationship between these two communities. Because like we said, they're going to be the majority groups in the future. So that'll benefit us all. If we're the two majority groups and we're in a good standing, then we could unite and we could change things that'll be beneficial, so we won't be at the bottom. Like we're not going to be at the bottom. So
to answer that, I'll probably say our numbers, because our numbers with the mixed race community, dude, we could probably, we could definitely achieve a lot. One thing I will ask Marquise, is it true that what Jesus said, that you said Latin women prefer Black dudes because of they BBC and all that?
You and I have been YouTube friends for quite some time now. Does that sound like something I would say?
No, bro. Hey, listen, I don't know, bro. That's what I'm asking.
I mean, we all know Hazel don't like me because I called her out the fact that she really doesn't live in Florida. She lives in Texas. I actually know exactly where she lives. Okay. So I don't know why you keep lying on me. Like, I don't know why.
No, you don't. And the woman in the picture is not your wife.
Hazel,
you don't know nothing.
Hazel, hold on.
I know exactly where you live.
Okay.
And I know exactly where you live.
Marquise,
I know
we don't care now. Marquise, we don't care about where people live. Like, so why would
she brought that up earlier. I'm just saying.
Okay. Why would Hazel say something like that? Did she misinterpret what you said? Like what?
No.
All you have to do is go on that other guy's channel. All you have to do is go on that other guy's channel. And the things that he's saying about his own race of women. And what he said about Latino women prefer Black men.
I've tried to ignore her because I don't know why she keeps lying. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people don't like themselves.
There's
So
video
what they
of
do is
it.
they come
There's
to YouTube
video
and they
of
make
it. I
these
don't
fake
have to lie.
personas.
There's video of it under
Wait,
the
wait, hold
They
on.
make
Hazel,
and when you
Hazel,
said it, they made a whole expose.
Hazel, hold on. I gotta mute Hazel for a second. Marquise, did she
yeah.
misinterpret something? Did she misinterpret your statement, or did you mean it? Like what?
She's just outright lying because
Okay.
this is what they do. They hate themselves, so they
Okay.
make up these
So
people.
what
that
did you
a lot of
say?
people wanna be.
What did you say that they maybe took out of context?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't even pay attention. I just know whatever the things she says about me, like the fact that she says I'm short, like that's crazy.
Okay.
Like you've seen me before. Like I'm not
No, yeah,
short.
it seems like you guys have like already a history.
No,
Okay,
it is not me. It is not me. It is
no,
not
no,
me.
I'm not saying that it's you. I'm not saying that it's you. I'm saying that you guys
But
already
hold
have a
on a
history.
minute. He's saying a lot of things. He's saying a lot of things, and then you're telling me to hold on, and I don't get to reply to that. This is the same person.
Go ahead.
This is the same person, and he was on other channels, other platforms, live, saying these things, and the person clips what he says and puts it out there, so you know what this guy is saying. I am not the one saying.
Man,
I am not the one saying.
I think we should just get back on topic.
Yeah.
This don't got nothing to do.
Yeah, so Denise said something that was actually very interesting.
Wait, real quick. I have Jose,
Hi, Jose.
up in the building. Jose, what's going on?
Hi, Jose.
Well, first of all, thank you, Radical, for allowing me on your platform. Shout out to everybody on the panel and on the chat. I'm gonna make this short and sweet because I don't know how much time I have. Okay, I believe that we should unite and link out with those who want to unite with us. The fact of the matter is that there are many issues that both Latinos and biracial people do face. A lot of it has to do with self-identity, all that has to do with discrimination. So, but not everyone is going to be willing to unite with us. Those that are willing, I say we should do so. Those who are not, just ignore them and just keep it going.
Thank you.
The problem I have with this is you're trying to increase your numbers by divide and conquer by reducing ours. Like multiracial and mixed people make up a large majority of African Americans in the United States. Like,
I'm
I'm
gonna ask the panel a question real quick. Let me ask a question real quick to the panel. I'm gonna ask the biracials that are here if they share the same experience as I do, as racially ambiguous as well. I'm gonna ask this the biracials here. Do you guys feel 100% accepted in the Black community when it comes to political aspects, financial opinions, movements, organizations? Do you guys are allowed to participate and have voices in those spaces, or you guys often feel shunned? Because
there's a lot of biracial people that are participate in Black movements, and definitely we do have a voice. We have been fighting for the Black community. We have been there's a historic factors there, but this is the issue. Black community does not care about biracial issues that only affect us. That's the issue. It's like a one-sided relationship. Like when we try to talk about biracial things and try to be like, hey, these are things that affect us, that we get called cry racials and nobody cares, light skin tears. That's the issue. I wish it could be a two-sided relationship where it could be a mutual beneficial, but it's only us trying to fight for the Black community, and the Black community is like, no, we don't care about y'all biracial issues. It don't affect us. It's not our problem. It's not our fight. I can hear that a lot. Oh, that's not our fight. That's like the preferences or whatever they say.
Does that come from women or men?
And no, but hold on,
Denise,
Kevin. Now I want to hear from Anthony and Giorgio.
Okay, I think
their
I know
experiences as well.
I think I know what you were saying. And the answer is absolutely not. Maybe back in the day when everybody was kind of lumped in and America was more about just kind of black and white, I would say somebody who was mulatto had more of a voice in the community. But today, as the community becomes more diverse, you have Black people coming from the Caribbean, Africa now, and you got Latinos coming here now. I feel like in my opinion, Black Americans are becoming a lot more sensitive to who speaks for them, right? That's why you have the whole FBA movement.
You got the whole woke, all the wokeness going on, and people are like, "Oh, you're not Black," that's
They're even
That's
doing
what
it. I even
I
see them
support
doing it to
that.
people
I
who are.
respect Black people. I'm like, yo, I understand you don't want us to represent your image. I'm doing this, having my own identity out of respect for Black people. You understand that? That's where we're coming from. It's not.
I'm also. Let me just add something
So,
real. Let me just wait. Let me just add something real quick. I only see this in the Black community, saying that light skinned folks cannot represent in Latino communities, dark, light, whatever. You speak for the Latinos. White folks, you could be a little tan, you still speak for white folks. I've only seen this in the Black community, but all right, go, Jojo.
I've never seen it.
Georgia,
Hold on,
you
let me finish
Georgia.
my point. My point
Okay.
was sorry. My point was just no, we don't like, and especially in today's climate, because now you even have people that are beefing with other Black people with two Black parents and saying, well, you don't understand me because you're not dark skinned. So imagine what they're gonna feel about somebody who's mixed. Like they look at, it's like Black people today are looking at us as white people now. They're not even looking at us as being part Black. It's like, okay,
The dynamics have changed a lot. It really has. I've seen it because I used to be pro-Black, and then when I was in those communities, we got shamed for being half white. Like say, oh, your genes are diluted.
Shut your light skin ass up.
So Georgia,
they're calling you mud.
Georgia, do you feel?
Georgia is turn. Go ahead. Georgia.
Yeah. Do you share the same experience, or yours is different?
with how I identify, so the answer to the initial question is going to be no. Because like when you are even wanting to like form an alliance, you are going to actually have to sponsor things like trademarks with each other. Well, not trademarks, but what's it called? Oh, yeah, trade-offs. That's the word I'm looking for. So like if I'm willing to like align with the Black community, we're going to actually have to sponsor things like trade-offs. So I would be willing to help them, but what can they offer me in return and what's going to be in it for me? I can understand their issues. I can recognize their distinct identity. I will acknowledge them and recognize them as such, but will they be able to reciprocate that?
Given what not something that it's not what Radical says, not what I said, given what the experiences of racially ambiguous folk here experience from the Black sector, and that is completely okay. You don't have to accept them. Now that we're expanding and extending also a welcome to the biracial or the mixed folks in America to also unite, since we have so much pushback from certain other groups, then why is it that you feel so pressured to now claim people that you have worked so hard in the last, I would say 20, 30 years to declassify their Blackness in order for you to be the mainstream? Because it seems once again, like I said earlier, it's starting to seem from the slow tap and the Terry Queener sector, it's starting to look like dirty tricks in order to derail the fact that we have no space because we're racially ambiguous people in a country that has a racially binary system.
Yeah,
how selfish people really are going to be that because we don't classify as one or the other, well, you're my Negro because you have some Negro in you, so you'd rather just stay with the Negroes even though I'm going to treat you like a dog because you have some Negro in you. Because white folks, I don't have this problem with them. Now, I don't interact with them in large numbers, but at the same time, whoever accepts us, we will accept the same way. But we can no longer stay here in this limbo because people are afraid that their numbers are going to decrease. We're not cannon fodder.
Wait. Now let me say something real quick. Big booty ass said, first of all, you guys shouldn't be in those spaces anyway. It's not for you anyway. You're not Black.
And I respect that.
You're
I'm
mixed.
confused because my entire life I've seen people like my mother looks just like Denise, by the way. Like they're the same skin tone. And I grew up my entire life seeing biracial mixed people always identify as Black and nothing else.
Exactly.
So I'm confused when I see guys saying we have our own experiences.
Who was that reference to?
Exactly. I identified as Black my whole life.
Me too. Like I have. Like
I believe
most biracial people
I'm going to
so we get
assume
told,
I'm going to assume that was referring to the panel. Everybody who I don't know. I'm guessing that's referring to the panel. But then again, those are the same rhetoric that I hear from certain sectors of the Black American community. Oh, you can't be speaking on this, or you shouldn't be part of that because you're not this. You're mixed.
The only thing I would say is, no matter what you are, Black immigrant, biracial, mixed, or whatever, and you're, speaking for Black people, it needs to be, in support of whatever it is a, collective Black agenda is, and that's what Black people are trying to do as a group. That's the only thing.
That's what we're not.
I think somebody said we have a problem with Colin Kaepernick. No, we don't.
Yesterday,
but that's exactly what we're trying to discuss. Though we don't have
I got
to.
it, but I'm just saying Kaepernick is cool because he was actually speaking on issues that affected Black men specifically, and then
but the thing that
Black community.
This
So
is the thing,
and we're like, wow.
This is the thing. We don't have to prioritize one sector. That's exactly what we're saying right now. We don't have to. Now that we understand, okay, we don't fit with Black folks. Got it. We don't fit with white folks. Got it. We're someone in the middle. We're the ham of the sandwich. We understood the message. You guys made it very clear. Okay. You don't want to unite. You don't want to accept that you come with BS and baggage too. You don't want to accept that you also have a lot of issues like we do. Fine. We will accept our issues and we're going to take our L's. What we're going to do is just unite, because at the end of the day, you guys yesterday you were asking Latinos, Kevin, to bring something basically to kiss the Black ring.
That's
from
not
Black.
what I was saying.
No, I took the receipt. You were asking Latinos to kiss the Black people's ring in order to unite and bring something to the table other than our numbers. Now we're okay. We don't have nothing to offer because we are more poverty than Black folks in America. That is a fact. So because we don't have anything to bring, we're going to go with people that share our same mirror experience without them asking us to kiss their ring, because we both understand in humility that we both gain a lot by coming together and work for our specific issues. We're not responsible to clean up for them. They're not responsible to clean up for us, but at the same time, they will benefit and we will benefit from our union. If you guys cannot understand that, we get it. It's all good. We wish you the best. The ones that want to rock with us are always welcome. We love them too, and we will help them as well. But we're not going to kiss rings here.
Okay.
No more.
I want to address.
Okay, so let me go ahead and respond to that, because you're still misunderstanding what I said. And I answered that in the comments, by the way, on that last video. You're completely misunderstanding what I said. What I said was, in an alliance, when Black people come together with other groups, whether they be Asians, Hispanics, whites, or whatever, there needs to be mutually beneficial, tangibles on both sides. Meaning that Black people need to get something out of it, Asians need to get something out of it, Hispanics need to get something out of it. We have a 160 plus year history of where Black people have united with other groups, and then Black people get pushed to the side. That's a fact. That's
white people. What groups are those?
Not only that includes white people specifically.
So
I'll leave the Asians and Hispanics out of it. I'll leave the Asians and Hispanics out of it.
White people, right? Is that just with white people?
But that's what I'm saying though. Black people come together with. This is a 160 plus year history. I know because I've done the research. Look, and what happens is Black people do all of that work. They get beat up, get their heads cracked in, do Bloody Sunday, all of that stuff, getting killed and everything else. And then they go, oh, you know what? Thanks for giving us all of this stuff. And then Black people get pushed.
Do you think that every group is going to treat you like white people?
That's not how an alliance works. Black people should have came out of the 1960s, 70s, and even 80s with exactly what everybody else got, and that's not what happened. Okay, and that's
every group is going to treat you like that.
It's not about. So you're misunderstanding me, Denise. I need to clear this up, because I think you're taking it personal or something, and I want to make sure that you understand this, or at least explain it. Is that you can't ask a group to come align with you, and then they do that. They put in all the effort and work, and then whenever whatever group gets what they want, then you push them to the side. That's happening right now with the LBGT. I literally have seen and actually talked to people who are queer and LBGT, and they're Black, and they are aligning themselves with white LBGT and all these other LBGT groups, because LBGT, the alternative lifestyle folks are all of them, right? All the races. And it's been historically, and they're still doing it to this day. Black people don't get the resources, the wealth, employment opportunities, and everything else that the white LBGT get. There are trans folks right now living on the streets, homeless, and they're not getting. So if they did all that work with the LBGT, they should be getting the exact same things that the white folks get, and that's not what they're getting.
Well, let me answer Magic Murata.
That's why they're getting pushed to the side. So that's why it's not about kissing the ring. It's about making sure that if somebody helps you, you make sure that they get what they're supposed to get as a result of their.
But this is the thing. This is the thing, Kevin. What you said yesterday, and I don't know if Radical has the time to play the clip because but I let you talk without interrupting. Now, what I said yesterday wasn't related to anything of what you said. What you came in the first question that you said is what Latinos are bringing to the table. And I answer to you, we bring our numbers. Now, with our numbers, we can start having political influence, supporting each other financially in our business endeavors, etc., etc., etc. You thought yesterday, and the people that are watching can go to yesterday's stream and watch when Mr. Kevin comes up. That's the first question that comes out of his mouth. I did not put that in your mouth. So the first thing that you said was numbers are not quote unquote tangibles. It's even in the comment section when you understand that we need to bring something extra. Now, we don't know. Hold on, but Kevin, please. I'm going to talk from my sector. Latinos in history had never joined African Americans in efforts of nothing as a whole and left you guys hanging from anything. There's no proof that that has ever happened. As a matter of fact, you are able to legally be recognized as a married Black man to a Latina in the United States because a Latina united with a Black man in California in 1947 and made interracial marriage possible. That is a tangible that we advance benefits and freedom from Black folks. It was not Loving versus Virginia. It was Perez versus Sharp in the 1940s. Look it up. Don't believe what I just said.
I know about it.
So another instance, Latinos, especially Puerto Ricans, did unite with Fred Hampton. We did. We did not take anything from that. We did not backstab Black Americans. We actually died with them, were attacked with them, fought with them, and we never took stuff and then left y'all hanging. There's no proof of that. I get that you have the issue with the LGBT doing stuff to you guys, but you don't have to put that. You don't have to do that and put that on Latinos. We're coming to the table in good faith. You guys are coming to the table in bad faith. That is a reality. And that is literally why we're having this
real quick. Hold on, real quick.
Okay, now I got to tell Denise where she's wrong. This is where I tell Denise where she's wrong.
Go ahead.
So that whole case with out in California, that's only legal out in California. It doesn't matter if you got to go all the way out to California to get married, to have a mixed race marriage, then that's no good if you're in Florida. So it doesn't matter until you get to 1967 Loving versus Virginia. But I will say this, that case did set the precedent to actually get to the United States Supreme Court. So you get
the case.
You get the overturning of Loving versus Virginia. So that's again, let's just clear that up. And then the other thing too is that doesn't. I think you guys are misunderstanding. My wife is Latina, but she's as dark as me.
It doesn't matter.
That has nothing to do with
It doesn't matter. She was considered a white woman because Mrs. Perez was mostly indigenous, still considered a white woman. Maria Africa from the DR was a Black woman, still considered a white woman during segregation. No, because Kevin, you're coming with the same disingenuous answers. If you say
Kevin,
in America,
Latinos are considered white no matter how dark they are.
If Loving versus Virginia used as precedent, as legal precedent, Perez versus Sharp, that means that without Perez versus Sharp, we would not have Loving versus Virginia. That is a known fact. So at the end of the day, you might not want to. Now, hold on. You might not want to be humble enough to say, hey, you know what? Latinos have contributed, even if it's 1 cent, but they have contributed to a little bit of our plight without stabbing us in the back. I understand that it hurts to admit that. It might burn. It might be sour to you personally, but however, it is
You're
a
actually
known,
right. What do you?
that's the thing, but it's a known fact. And what you started is like, I'm just gonna tell how Denise is wrong because you're coming to the table.
Because you're not
with,
wait, guys, real quick. Hold on. First of all, I'm about to start wrapping it up because I'm gonna end it real soon. Thank you very much for everybody coming in. Real quick again with this whole listen, no Latino is going to get stop it with the whole Latinos taking out women type of thing. And if mixed race people got together, it's not going to be a different race. Come on, just that's so dumb. Anyway, listen, thank you guys for coming in. I'm so sorry that I'm cutting it off right now, but I'm cutting it off right now. The conversation is going to happen in the backstage. With that being